Right, hello guys, and welcome to today's video. In today's video, I am excited to bring you not only a gameplay with the M4, not only is this a 1711 gameplay with the M4, but today's video is a nuclear. That's right guys, I got my second nuke here in Modern Warfare. Using the M4, we go 1711, but that's not the important part of today's video, okay? The important part of today's video is I'm going to discuss with you something that I've done to try and improve my game, and something that I can give you guys kind of a bit of feedback on, as to purchases and stuff that you can do outside of Modern Warfare to improve your game in Call of Duty. So what am I talking about? If you haven't guessed by the thumbnail or title, etc., your boy Taz made a new purchase, and my new purchase was buying a new controller. Now the reason I did this is because my current old controller, which was a standard edition Xbox One controller, it was just falling apart a little bit. You know, the sticks were going a little bit, the dead zones weren't quite there. I could tell I had stick drift on the controller. And I thought, okay, it's time to buy a new controller, and I've kind of splashed the cash on this one because I think it's time, especially with what I do game a lot, so I felt like this was a purchase that would benefit me because I'm going to get a lot of use out of it. So what I did was I went and looked around, I checked out different things, I read a lot of reviews, and I ended up going with the Xbox One Series 2 controller. That's right, I do play on Xbox, guys, in case any of you guys didn't know that. I play on Xbox. And I bought the Xbox One Series 2 controller, and wow, this controller is incredible. Okay, now if you want me to give a rating out of 10 right now for you guys, I'm going to give it a 9. Now I'm going to explain that in today's video, like why I kind of give it a 9, because there's a few little things that do bother me with it, but a lot of it is absolutely fantastic and is great. And plus, I wanted to make this video not only because I got the Nuke, you know, the Nuke is pretty cool, but then if any of you guys are interested in controllers, etc., I kind of want to give you guys feedback on things I've heard and things that I've used that help with controllers, even things that don't necessarily involve buying a new controller but can help with your controller, if you get what I'm saying. So basically, let's get into it. So I bought the Xbox Series 2 controller, and it's an expensive controller, okay? So this is something that don't just go out and buy it because I got a nuke, okay? Don't just take it as, oh, if I get that controller, I'm going to get a nuke as well, okay? There's a lot you got to do yourself as far as getting good at the game, besides getting a good controller. And so I went for this controller. It costs $159.99. That's quite an expensive controller, but in the market of controllers that are for competitive gaming or pros and have paddles and stuff in the back, it's quite a cheap controller, because the only places I think you can actually get cheaper controllers are third-party sites that aren't Scuff. Okay, that's one thing I'll say, and that's one product I would say to avoid, to be honest, because I haven't heard a lot of good reviews about Scuff products. Scuff products are very expensive controllers. They are £200 plus controllers, and not only that, I've heard they do have the tendency to break quite easily, so I avoided them. And these are from reviews, okay, so don't take that as my word as me using a Scuff controller. I have never used a Scuff controller, but I have seen a lot of reviews, and you can go look yourself online for quite a lot of bad reviews about Scuff controllers. So I have avoided the Scuff controller. It's an expensive controller that has the tendency to break apparently, so I have avoided that. So I went for the Xbox Elite 2, and the reason for that is I didn't go for the Xbox Elite 1 because that is the old generation controller, the old generation controller. And the problems I saw with that controller was the grips. The grips used to come off, and a lot of people complained about that. I saw a lot of videos showcasing that the grips would come off. But the fantastic thing they did with the Xbox Series 2 is they've improved this, okay? They fixed that issue. The grips will not come off. I can guarantee you that now. I'm holding the controller right now, and the grips go all the way around the controller, whereas on the previous generation controller, it would only go around I think it was the bottom part, not the top part, and it was very easy for it to come off. I think it had a glue or something that just wasn't very stable at keeping it on. So what they've done is they've put the grip all the way around the controller, except for the center area. The center area is a matte finish, I'd say. And it feels nice in your hands, okay? That's one thing I'll say. It feels absolutely fantastic in your hands. It feels like you're never going to slip off. And again, this is personally for me, you know? So I'm just giving you my review of how it feels for me, okay? Because my hands are going to be different to your hands, okay? So some of you might have smaller hands, some of you might have bigger hands. And, you know, that's going to affect what controller you buy, what type of controller you buy, what grips you want it, stuff like that. So, but I'm just doing a review for the V2 controller. And again, after getting a nuke, I had to do this review. So with this controller, the main reason I actually bought this controller is because it does have a few features that I like, and the big selling point to me was the stick tension. I saw about the stick tension being able to like set how loose or how tight you want the stick to be, and what I mean by that is how much you want it to be able to move, and like how, I don't know, how hard you want it to be able to move with it. And basically, this Xbox Series 2 controller has the ability, it has a little key in the accessories that you get with it, which is like you get thumbsticks, you get back paddles, stuff like that. So with this, there's a little key, and what you do is you take out the thumbstick. By the way, these are magnetic, so they literally just plop into place, take them out of place really easy, no screws, no nothing. That's really easy and simple, honestly. They made this controller very accessible and very easy to understand and how to put together, like if you need to mess around with it and stuff. And I think it's just an amazing piece of kit, honestly. But yeah, so you put the key in and you turn it. There's like 3 different ways you can turn it. So if you go left or anti-clockwise, that makes it as loose as possible for the controller. And if you go clockwise, that makes the controller tighter. So what I did was, I made the left-hand side, I left that one alone, okay? Because when you originally get this controller, it's left on the loosest possible setting. So it's left on its original setting, which is the loosest option. But what I did on the right-hand side, because this is your aiming stick, to make sure I had like a lot more control over my aim, I pushed this all the way to the right. I made this stick as tight as I possibly could, to just have a better feel for like when I'm aiming. You know, it gives me a lot more control. It makes my shot a lot more steady. And you can see that in this gameplay, that my shot is just very straight. It's not going all over the place. I'm not going left or right. I don't look like a blimmin', I don't know, I'm not like a window wiper or nothing going left or right. It's just crisp. I stay on target, and it's fantastic. It's honestly a great feature they have on this controller. So yeah, another thing they have is a lot of thumbsticks. Okay, there's a lot of choice of thumbsticks. You have the standard thumbsticks. You get 2 360 style thumbsticks. So if you're someone who played on the 360 and you like those thumbsticks, they do come with this, and they're honestly lovely. They're great, a great feel to them. But what I did was, I have put the 360 thumbstick on my left, which is for my movement, because simply, you just need to be comfortable. Okay, it's quite a low down stick. I think it's slightly taller than the original stick you get on an Xbox One. But it is like, there's a lot more width to it, so I can just place my thumb on it and I have no problems with it like sliding off or anything. Absolutely fantastic. And on the right hand side, now what I've done is here, if you guys didn't know, I used to use Control Freaks, and I stand by it. Control Freaks are still a fantastic product, but the Xbox One V2 controller comes with a long thumbstick itself, and it's great. I put it on, I tried it out, you know, because I was messing around in bots before I even played these 3 games online. And the tool stick just feels comfortable. I like it. For some reason, I just like it. Something feels great about it. Ignore this part. This is just no aim assist in the game. Okay, I can't do anything about that. But yeah, the long thumbstick just feels great in my hand. I don't know why. It feels more natural to me. And I think that's because with a Control Freak, you do have to stick it on the original standard stick, so it's a lot more taller than the actual long stick you get on the Xbox Series 2. But yeah, so currently I am no longer using a Control Freak. But that does not mean Control Freaks are a bad product. I would 100%, if you are not looking at getting a controller and you want to improve like just your thumbsticks, okay, if you want to improve your aim, I highly recommend Control Freaks. Very cheap, fantastic product. You just have to find the right one for you. But honestly, Control Freaks are a fantastic product. So don't take this as me like taking away my Control Freak and thinking it's a bad product. It's not. They are fantastic, and I do absolutely appreciate Control Freak products. But yeah, currently I'm not using them. I am using a long thumbstick. Other features this controller has is now the D-pad. Well, the D-pad, yeah, you can change the D-pad around. It's not really that important, to be honest, when it comes to gaming and Modern Warfare. But the one other thing is the paddles, okay? Now, you've seen these typically with Scarfs and other third-party controllers. So, Xbox obviously brought out their Series 2 controller. It was actually on the Series 1 as well, but the Series 2 has 4 paddles, okay? You can stick on the back, and you have 2 at the bottom, 2 at the top. And the 2 at the top are kind of like small. The 2 at the bottom are a little bit longer, kind of like halfway down, I'd say, about the, I don't know, the grips of the side of the controller. It's about halfway down. And currently what I've done is, I've only got 1 of these on, because I was messing around with them, and I'm not sure whether I should have all 4 on, or just 1, or the natural 2. A lot of people normally only have 2 of these on. So what I did was, and in this gameplay actually, at the start, I did actually have 2 of these on. But after like I think a few kills, I think maybe you'll probably notice a point where I stopped playing for a few seconds, because I removed one of the paddles. Now what I removed was the left hand side paddle. The one I currently have on, and still currently have on after this gameplay, is the right hand side. I have one of these paddles. It's the one for the bottom bit, and the only thing that does is A for me, so that does my jumping for me in Modern Warfare. I did used to play on stick to move because I didn't obviously have paddles, so I needed a way to be able to jump shot, and going back and forth and pressing A is not a great idea. So I had to change my settings back to back to standard. And I'll probably do an updated video if you guys want as well, on like a sensitivity settings and stuff like that, because there's a lot of things that have actually changed since that video. So if you guys want me to do that, leave a comment down below letting me know if you want to see that or not, because I will happily do a video on that. And I will also do a video on my Xbox V2 settings if any of you guys have this controller or just want to learn or be curious about what you can do with an Xbox Series 2 controller. That is if you guys are on Xbox. So sorry if you're on PlayStation. Unfortunately, PlayStation hasn't bought out this type of controller or their own version of like a Pro controller. So hopefully they do for you guys, because honestly, having a Pro controller made by the actual company that makes the consoles is just great. It's great. They understand what they can do and what the capabilities are. And it's just fantastic, honestly. So yeah, currently the right hand side I have one paddle, and it's for A. It's just a jump, you know. Currently I still do my X to reload, my Y to YY, well, switch weapons, and then I use my B to crouch and stuff. Because I'm not sure what I want on the left hand side for my paddle. I just have no idea. So yeah, overall, Xbox Series 2 controller is a 9 out of 10. Also, actually, I almost forgot. Trigger stops. Okay, this controller comes with trigger stops. Now, what this does is there are two switches on the back, either side. So you got one for the left trigger and one for the right trigger. The one for the right trigger, I have it set to the lowest option, and what this means is it's basically not gonna. If I press it, it barely moves. Okay, but the problem is if you're playing a racing game, you will want this back at the loosest option. But the trigger stops basically stop your trigger at certain points. And in an FPS, you don't need to press the trigger very far down to make the gun shoot. So I have this on the right hand side to the lowest possible option. So basically the trigger will barely move. And then on the left hand side, I set it to the mid option, because this is my one little gripe was the triggers on the back have these little has like a little grip on it. But personally for me, when I set it to the lowest option on the left hand side, it just hurt my index finger on the left hand side. So I put it back down to the mid setting and it feels a lot more comfortable. But yeah, that's my only gripe really with the controller. It's just that. It's just if you put it to the lowest option on the left hand side, at least for me anyway, for my fingers, it just hurt my finger a bit. So I set it to the mid option, and yeah, they feel fantastic. It does. Just this whole controller feels amazing. And if you've been watching the gameplay in the background, you probably noticed that my shot has been absolutely fantastic. And as you can see, we've obviously got the nuke. We called the nuke inbound. I'm shooting in the air and everything because it was just amazing. You know, I couldn't believe third game in with this new controller, I dropped a nuke. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you want to see a video explaining sensitivity and stuff and a new Xbox Series 2 settings as well, let me know down below and I will happily do that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe with notifications on, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Goodbye.
I don't know who did that. That was weird. I didn't even know fucking nukes were a thing in this.